I'm RITA or OMODIA, and of course on this program we get to discuss topical issues, headline stories during the week. And of course this week has been quite a tremendous one as we have lots of story flooding the airspace. We also know that of the coronavirus pandemic, that is COVID-19, that is ravaging Nigeria and the world globally, and we are all encouraged to make sure we maintain good personal hygiene and make sure you follow all the safety guideline precautions given to you by the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, the NCDC, and of course the WHO. Now, so far not so good, I may say. Yesterday we had 387 new cases of COVID-19, and unfortunately Lagos is once again topping the chart as Lagos registered 254 cases, the FCT 29, Jigawa 24, Edo 22, Oyo State 15, Rivers 14, Kaduna 11, Borno had 6 cases, Kano 3, Plateau 2 cases, Yobe 2, Gombe 2, Bauchi 2 cases, Ondo 1 case, and in total Nigeria has 9,302 cases of COVID-19. The chart so far we have 2,697 and the deaths are increasing. We have 261 dead cases. So far, we have like active cases between 6,000 plus. Because if you minus or subtract the discharged cases from the confirmed cases, you would have that statistics. Now, globally, coronavirus cases has increased as we have 6,054,776 cases. Deaths globally around the world. I said it's a global affair. We have 367,288 cases. Now, recovered patients so far from COVID-19 globally, we have 2,680,643 cases. We know that the recent coronavirus began in Wuhan, China in December 2019. And of course, we know that SARS infection causes a respiratory illness called COVID-19, and because of that, the world has actually been put on a standstill, and we are all advised to maintain safety, personal hygiene, even apart from COVID-19 or whatever conspiracies or theories that may arise from COVID-19. We would say that it is good to actually maintain personal hygiene. Washing of hands will actually make your health system better, COVID-19 or not. So please let us take note of those precautionary measures. Now, aside from health matters, COVID-19, we know that Nigeria as a whole has been having lots of headlines. As we know that on May 29, it marked the first year tenure of the second year term of President Buhari. And for a state like Lagos State, we have Babajide Sanwo-Olu marking his first year anniversary. Well, let's take a look at stories that made headlines during the week, and we'll be right back. Editors Forum exclusive to Galaxy Television. I am Rita OMODIA, and of course the stories we ran there were some of the headlines, stories that made headlines during the week. And of course today we also have new headlines of President Muhammadu Buhari reconstituting the NNPC board. We also know that the federal government is planning to probe state agencies over diversion of COVID-19 funds. We also have quite a sad story as the former NNPC GMD Maikantu Barrow died at the age of 60 years. We had the news last night. May his soul rest in perfect peace. And of course, earlier during the week, we also know we marked the Eid al-Fitr celebration and Children's Day celebration. So it's my opportunity to wish you all, well, not too late. Well, we still wish you all a happy Children's Day, and I hope you had a fulfilled Eid al-Fitr celebration despite the COVID-19 pandemic. We say where there's life, there is still hope, and let's not forget the reason for the season. Well, I'll not be alone on today's edition of the show. I have with me Victor Ayo. He's a public affairs analyst and the publisher of Prime Health News magazine. I hope I'm correct.
Yeah, correct.
You're welcome to the show.
Many thanks for having me once again.
Okay, we also have with us Olusegun Ariyo, and he is the publisher of Online Urban Express News. Thank you very much for joining us on the show. Okay, we'll start with administration. So far, as I said earlier on, President Muhammadu Buhari marked, we can put it as his 5th year anniversary in governance. And if you want to look at it the other way, we knew that he ran his first 4 years and he was elected for a second term. So May 29th marked his first year administration of a second term. Well, we know that during his last 4 years, he moved Democracy Day to June 12th. So we did not have Democracy Day as at yesterday, May 29th, but rather we'll have it on June 12th, of course, which is celebrating the late MKO Abiola, and of course marking Democracy Day in general. And of course it will do us well to review the last administration. So far so good. How well we would evaluate President Muhammadu Buhari. He came with the template of giving us a better security, better economy, eradicating corruption and all that. So it will be well for us to review his score sheet so far for the past 5 years, or you can put it, we gave him another chance, 1 year tenure for his second term. So I'll start with you, Victor Aya. Let's start with the issue of security. How well, how good, as an editor, would you evaluate President Muhammadu Buhari in securing a better economy for Nigeria?
As you have rightly said, when he was coming in 2015, he gave us a tripod that he was going to look at the issue of fighting corruption, revamping the economy. Yes. And the third one is fighting, providing security. Security, yes. Which is one of the paramount needs of people, according to the Constitution, that the sole purpose of governance is to provide security and the welfare of Nigerians. But if we look critically, between that time and now, a space of 5 years, at that time when they were coming, we were told that Boko Haram were in charge of 17 local government areas, according to them, because they said that they were 17, they placed their flags in 17 local government areas in some part of Borno State and Adamawa. And with that yardstick, they are now telling us that those who are in government, they are the judge, they are the prosecutor, they are the one judging their own matter. They said that now such flags are be removed from those local 17 local government areas for that reason that security has been improved in this country. But we who are the other side of the divide, we don't seem to see improvement in the area of security, because if 17 local government areas were under the custody of Boko Haram insurgents at that time, as they want to have us believe, today, if we ask them, how many states are under bandits? How many states are under herdsmen attacks, whereby people can no longer move freely? For instance, at that time, before they came on board, we can see that the insurgents were contained to the northeast at that time. Other parts of the country, northwest, and North Central. Then the entire South were southern part of the country was peaceful. There was a time in this country whereby night travels was in high demand, because that time the roads would be free.
So you can travel peacefully.
You can travel peacefully from one part of the country to the other without the fear of being kidnapped or be killed. But today, I don't think anybody will try to travel in the night. So that is to tell us that there's no much in improvement if we compare and contrast. And today, farmers can no longer go to farm. Those of them who are in government, they will say that farmers are going to farm and that we are self-sufficient in the area of feeding ourselves. But just last week, the federal government said that it does not have money to import food. The question we are asking ourselves is that if we have improved so much in the area of producing our own food, why should government be crying that there's no money to import food, when they are telling us that we are producing our own rice, and we are producing our own gari and all that? We should not forget the fact that in 2015, when this government was coming in, a plate of gari, that is 4-liter plate, that that's the way they measure it, was 300 naira. Today it's between 900 and 1,000 naira. Can we say that we have improved? If we have improved, at least the price should have remained static or gone lower than what we used to buy. But the price has gone up. The same thing with rice, the same thing with other foodstuffs. So how can we say that we have improved in the area of security? Every day we are hearing of bloodshed in this country. Just 3 days ago in Sokoto, about 70 people were hacked down. The chairman of Khan in Nasarawa State, kidnapper went to his home and took him from his home. Something that was never done in this country before. People are being kidnapped from their homes. So to me, in my personal evaluation, I don't think we have achieved meaningful development or growth in the area of security, because if all these things I have mentioned, it's just because of time frame, one could have gone on and on to enumerate other things that are happening when it comes to security. So I don't think we have achieved much when it comes to security. In fact, the security situation in this country has degenerated than what it used to be. Have gone badly. Okay. Because you move from one place to the other. If I want to travel now, I have to engage in fasting, and I know it's not peculiar to Oleni, because you don't know whether you come back when you get home, when you leave your home. Children that are going to school now, you have to take them to school by yourself, either you do that or your wife, or if you have a nanny. In those days when I was growing up, I could trek miles from my village, which is RITA, to where I was going to school. Today you cannot do that. You cannot allow your children to go to school and come back by themselves because of fear of kidnapping. So all these are part of insecurity. So if anybody is telling us, especially Femi Adesina that wrote a piece yesterday saying that 17 local government area were under the control of Boko Haram, and today such things are not happening, I think he's just speaking because he's protecting his salary and allowance. But we who are on the other side of the divide, we know that security has not improved in any way.
All right, Victor Aya, he's saying that so far in his own analysis and review of President Muhammadu Buhari's administration, security has not improved in any way. Well, the federal government has said that Nigeria's law enforcement agencies have significantly scaled up their footprint across the country. Operation Wild Stroke in the North Central, Operation X-Swift Response in border areas, several new forward operating bases, quick response wings, commando training schools, and so on, and deployment of special forces. Now, it also said that the Buhari administration has rolled out the most significant response to Nigeria's multifaceted security challenges since 1999. Now, it also said the Nigerian Air Force has acquired 22 brand new aircraft since President Buhari assumed office in 2015 and is expecting another 16, including the 12 Super Tucano currently on order from the United States government and due for delivery starting 2021. The NAF is also locally reactivating several previously unserviceable planes. Now, this is the statement from the federal government saying all what they've done in the area of security. And of course, the Ministry of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, also said that Nigeria has taken, President Muhammadu Buhari has taken Nigeria to a high scale of development, irreversible level of development. Meanwhile, the opposition People's Democratic Party said that President Muhammadu Buhari administration and of course the All Progressives Congress has taken Nigeria 60 years backward. Let's take a look at that clip and we'll be right back.
Power problem is finally being tackled in a way that will end poor power supply that has stunted Nigeria's socio-economic development. The days of unbridled massive importation of food are coming to an end as Nigeria moves to become self-sufficient in major staples, especially rice. Thanks to the provision of many platforms and improved welfare, the Nigerian military is living up to the billing in tackling insurgency. With the bold and courageous leadership provided by the President, Nigeria is marching surely and steadily to join the committee of great nations. Change is never easy, and the birth of a new nation comes with pain. We thank Nigerians for their support and perseverance, and hereby we assure them of the administration's unrelenting commitment to making life more meaningful for the citizen. As we begin the second year of the second and last tenure of President Muhammadu Buhari, I want to inform Nigerians that the stage is set for the implementation of the greatest agricultural revolution in the history of Nigeria.
Now the things that they criticize. Okay.
All right, you're welcome back. You're still on Toyota's Forum, exclusive to Guide to Television, and we saw the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, talking about how well President Muhammadu Buhari has taken us. Well, in the other clip, which will be played later on, the PDP said Nigeria has taken, Buhari has taken Nigeria 60 years backward. And we're looking at the scale now, Olusegun Ariyo, economy, security, power. Would you really say that President Muhammadu Buhari's administration has taken Nigeria 60 years backward?
No, okay. I would not accept that the president has taken us 60 years backward, but I would agree that it has not been fair all through 5 years to the Nigerian people, because we in the media, we have all they told Nigerians in manifestos, and first of all, what really triggered my thought anytime I listen to the president is that his word that he said when he was being inaugurated, that I belong to nobody, I am for everybody.
Everybody, yeah.
That word, anytime I see the way things are going, I feel terrible. You know, not for anything, but for the Nigerian people. The soldiers themselves, the way they are being fed, what we get, online, about how those people tactically maneuver, when they were fighting the enemies, the information we get. The recent one that went viral was when one of the soldiers was actually cursing the chief of army staff. I don't know if you...
Yeah.
The guy is a soldier, he was cursing the chief of army staff. Raining curse on that, on the chief of army staff.
So you're saying that security personnel are not well equipped?
The security personnel are not, they have been complaining on this. Now, I remember when the APC accused Jonathan of not buying equipment, to the soldiers. He replied them that even the equipment we're talking about, was last bought in 1986 when Babangida was on board. I guess that's what he said. So, but the president promised that he was going to fight from the front. I wrote that his quote when he presented a paper in a Chatham House, that he was going to lead from the front, that there won't be any cause to be in this kind of situation. That was when Jonathan administration was on board, giving Nigerians 100% assurance. But like Mr. Aya said, you can't travel from here, from Abuja indeed, to Kaduna. Even the generals, I entered the speed rail with them. A whole army general who cannot travel from Abuja to Kaduna, opting for rail line. That shows you what we are facing. The same minister you just heard now once told us that these Boko Haram people have been decimated. He used the word decimated. And then the opposition countered him. In all, we, the Nigerians, are in the receiving end. The issue of bandits, like what my colleague said here, is prominent. In the northwest region, the police on a daily basis are churning out arrests, Fulani members, but the Nigerian people are asking questions. How many Fulanis have been prosecuted or taken to court? We in the media, we are able to see one. Then we are talking about the FDI. Before we get in here, we are talking about the foreign direct investment. When I did an evaluation of Jonathan's 5 years of foreign direct investment and Buhari's 5 years of foreign direct investment, sincerely, the dichotomy is too big. There is a big dichotomy, but we are not here to do analysis of whether Jonathan, but we are here to analyze what the president had done, what he said he had done, according to my Oga Femi Adesina. But then I disagree with him 100% because I know the president had not lived up to expectation of Nigerians. You need to see the zeal at which this president was being voted for. If you go on the street now to hear how the people feel, it is nothing but the truth of it is that they are not feeling good at all. Security is in a bad state. You can't travel from one location to the other without encountering these people. Yesterday, the governor of Sokoto State was with the president. What is he complaining about? It's about the banditry that is prominent in Shawa, Kamba local government and one Shawa local government. He said those people are still there. Then we had Senator Ndume's own view regarding Goza. We had information that is going on in Goza. What is going on there? We know what is still going on. This senator from Adamawa, I can't get his name right there now. The senator said in his district, Central District, there are still issues of Boko Haram there. So I know for sure, because I present a paper on the difference between the Boko Haram philosophy and the bandits. You see, the banditry things are more of killing people, kidnapping people, and it is prominent in the northwest.
Okay.
Northwestern region. Sokoto, Zamfara. There was a time the IG had to order that all the resources that they are mining, they had to close it down because of security. People are coming from neighboring countries to come and kill people and go back, take advantage of everything. How are they getting those guns? There is the issue of proliferation of firearm, little firearms, and yes, light arms. That is coming from those boundaries, those corridors. What is the security people doing about it? The president is a former army general. Part of the reason Nigerian people have the confidence in this general, this president, is because of the fact that he is a retired major general of the Nigerian army. So they were expecting more from him. But sincerely, we are on ground. We are not politicians, but we must tell the truth. The president had fallen short of the expectation of Nigeria in terms of the security. And if you look at it clause by clause, in terms of economy, it has affected the economy. Food security, it has affected food security. The food we are talking about in Benue, that's where we have large quantum of yam production. Today, they can't go to the market again. They can't go to the farm, their place of agriculture to cultivate their food because of any reason, because of the Fulani herdsmen. The president once told us in first term when the governor was having a meeting with some of the indigenous people there in Benue, that he had directed that the IG, he was directed that the IG be there, to stay permanently. But when he came there, the people of Benue told him emphatically that the former IGP did not go there, didn't come there. So when he got to Abuja, we were expecting that he put into consideration leadership by showing the IG the way out, but he did not. There are many things that really is hidden that is not open to we Nigerians. Okay. But the fact of the matter is that security still fell short of the expectation of Nigerians. That is what I will say.
Okay, Olusegun has hinted at the fact that there's bad food security due to the rise in insecurity in Nigeria. Yeah. Now, what about, let's look at the economy and the fight against corruption, because those were also his key main mandates. Victor Aya, what would you say to this?
Yes, in the first place, there's nothing like a war against corruption. I've said that count number. Yes, because when we compare and contrast Nigeria and other countries, you find out that there's no exclusion of persons when it comes to fighting against corruption. But here, it seems to me that those who have led the country as former military heads of state, their deputies, former presidents, their deputies, are excluded from the fight against corruption. And we should not forget the fact that any fight that excludes a class of people is no longer fight against corruption. That is abuse of power. Because right now in South Africa, when Thabo Mbeki was there, he was removed because of corruption. Presently, Jacob Zuma is undergoing trial because of corruption. Mubarak, I've forgotten his first name, of Egypt, was tried in court at the age of 84, and he was jailed. I don't know whether he's still alive now or not, because I cannot confirm.
He's dead.
But here in Nigeria, have you seen where they try any former military head of state, any former president and their advice? Why is the fight against corruption limited to ministers, former governors, and deputies? And we should not forget the fact that for 20 years now, one man, we have been recovering money from one man's account in the person of General Sani Abacha. And it was because he's dead.
But at least we're recovering the money.
Yes, we are recovering. Why is it not being extended to other people? That's my gross. Why is it not being extended? In other countries, we see former heads of state being tried. But here, no. Are they exonerated? Are they above the law? The answer is no. So, EFCC is being teleguided. EFCC does not have free hand. We should not also forget the fact that Danjuma Goje was undergoing trial before the election to the National Assembly took place. Suddenly, the Attorney General of the Federation withdrew his case. Up to today, there's no explanation why that should happen. Whereas Ojus Akonu that was being tried for 7 billion naira. His case was concluded and he was sent to jail before another case came up in the appeal court. But somebody who was undergoing trial for 25 billion, between 25 billion and 7 billion, which was supposed to attract attention of government. So that's why I say that there's nothing like fighting corruption here. If you are not in the good book of government, they come after you. That is not the way to fight corruption. Corruption, the bodies that fight corruption must have a template. Okay. If I go against the template, they should come after me. If the former military heads of state go against the template, they go after them. If former president or their deputies go against the template, they go after them. But have you seen such thing happening? We were told that under the PDP, they did not fight corruption. But Abdul Rashid Mena ran out of this country because he wanted to evade corruption. The fight against corruption or persecution. But we now have a government that is telling us that he's fighting corruption. That man came back. He had the temerity to come back to this country and he was reinstated. And not that we were just restricted, they calculated all his previous allowances and handed over to him under a government that is fighting corruption. What kind of a system is that? So to me, nobody is fighting corruption. It is when if they don't like your face, they just say, okay, oh, this man is giving us problem. Oh yeah, EFCC go after him. Is that how corruption is fought in other places? The answer is no. So their evidences are bound. There was a period in this country where a former governor, 48 houses were seized from the man. Immediately he joined forces with a ruling party, the houses were returned to him. Tell me, as a journalist, as somebody that knows the meaning of fighting corruption, is that the way to fight corruption? The man did not even, EFCC did not appeal the case. Assuming they went to court and the man won, we would have said that, okay, it is as a result of a court proceeding that maybe he was vindicated. But there was no appeal from EFCC. But from the blues, the power that be just gave orders and they handed over 48 houses to the same person, the same EFCC that took the man to court, and those properties were seized from him, now gave those houses back to the man. So to me, what is happening in Nigeria is that just be connected with the powers that be. We have seen a situation in this country where somebody who is undergoing trial for corruption have been appointed as ministers. Not only one, not twice, not three, not four, in a country that is claiming to be fighting corruption. So to me, what is in place is that just know how to play your card very well. Dine and wine with the powers that be, then you will go scot-free. After all, the chairman of the ruling party said that when you join us, your sins are forgiven. So what else do you want from such a government? So just do whatever you can do. Then join them. When you join there, you go scot-free. So to me, my own personal evaluation, nobody is fighting corruption. What we have on ground is that it's just point a key as they do in back. This man is trying to give us a problem. A so place at a so time. They gave you so money. He did not use it well. But if you are in their account, they keep quiet over it. To me, that is not the way to fight corruption. Okay, all right. We're still having messages pouring in on President Buhari's score sheet. It's not only us here. We have people here. And this is Godwin from Ojota. Please, 5 years of President Buhari was a mess to the whole Nigeria. We also have Frank from Ikeja. Statistically, Mr. President has tried in combating the issue of Boko Haram and the Fulani herdsmen insurgency. Please tell Mr. Speaker that banditry cannot be totally eradicated, but it can only be reduced, which is what Buhari has done. Even in abroad, insecurity is still an issue. So he's saying that President Muhammadu Buhari has tried in the issue of security. Now, this is another person, Bankole from Ikotu. He said, the truth about our democracy is for the leaders, not the masses. Nigerians are not enjoying the state of security, and there is poverty. Now, this is another person, no name. The only thing that changed remarkably under President Muhammadu Buhari is the transformation of propaganda to new heights. In all sectors, nothing has improved. I believe Buhari has taken Nigeria 20 years backward. This one says Buhari took Nigeria 20 years backward, while PDP said Buhari took Nigeria 60 years backwards. Now, hello, I'm Sarah from Abulegba. What the man sitting in the middle is saying is all true. We are not getting what we deserve. This is another one. Buhari has nothing to be blamed for it. Our representatives, which we elected, have not done anything positive to better the lives of people. Please send messages only. I can see people calling in. It will disturb me from reading messages. Please send messages only. Now, it's not only President Muhammadu Buhari who will be evaluating, as unfortunately we've had quite a low score on President Muhammadu Buhari. Now, back here in Lagos, we have a governor who has so far gone through a one-year tenure, and that is Babajide Sanwo-Olu. So quickly, let's have a rough analysis. How would you assess Babajide Sanwo-Olu's administration?
But I want to quickly add before getting to Babajide.
Okay, quickly, please.
You know, I want to talk about the Transparency Perception Index.
Okay, quickly.
It's a good pointer to Mr. President to know that things are not really going in the way Nigerians want. Even though anytime Transparent International brings out their index, they will fight it. And instead of them, according to one of these professors, says, why not look at the statistics and see how you can work with it, instead of going, fighting the organization. So the president should, I would, anchor my thoughts on what the professor had said, that the president should look at transparency perception index and see how things can be done in terms of poverty, employment, and levels of corruption in this country. We have seen the way his government is now feeding people from home. Some people are agitating that the president should look into that. From the Ministry of Humanitarian Disaster Management, he should look into that.
All right.
Then for them to come clean, there are many questions that need an answer. So let me hold it from there. Then we talk on Babajide Sanwo-Olu. Yesterday I watched him on the other channel. When in Journalist Hangout he was talking, he gave his analysis of what he's been able to do. I will hold him on housing. Housing that he's talking about, he must be able to tell us how he's going to give low-income earners housing needs.
That's like free housing? Housing
needs. The demand for housing in Nigerians is very, very low. The demand is very, very high. The government policy on housing development is very, very low.
Okay.
The demand for housing Nigerians is very, very high. The government provisions or policy on direction on housing is very, very low. So I would watch his methodical approach to low-income housing earners vis-a-vis middle-income earners, because all the ones you have been seeing so far, they are specifically for high-income earners. Because he mentioned housing yesterday, I'm a housing person, I want to know, we want to hear more. Then on the issue of environment, I listened to him again. On the issue of environment, what he has given so far is still not what we Nigerians are expecting. The methodical approach of Ambode, yes, we saw it. It's a very good approach. That's a very good blueprint. Ambode's blueprint is very good, but because they have toxicated it with their way of politics, they had to bring it off. But I am yet to see his own unique methodical approach on waste management and development. We are not seeing it. If you go to my location, there are many waste, indiscriminately disposed in different kind of location that still calls to question. So it is not only Lekki that consists of Lagos. We have highbrow, middle, and low-class people. So you should be able to do a unique findings in those areas and get a fresh understanding, then see how he can tackle them. I'm talking on the environment now.
Okay, so let's round it up now. Victor Aya now. So far so good. So Olu, how would you analyze his administration?
Well, I think it's too low. It's too early for me to evaluate him.
Okay.
That is my own personal evaluation.
But in the past 1 year, would you say there's been an improvement?
It will be very difficult, because the easiest way to evaluate a governor is in the area of infrastructure.
Okay.
And that if he has not done well in that aspect, I cannot blame him. Just 365 days.
Okay.
So to me, it's too early for me to evaluate it. But I think in the area of the environment, with the reintroduction of PSP,
okay,
I think the environment will be clean. And if the environment is clean, then diseases will not find their way to our bodies, because one of the things that causes diseases is dirty environment. Even the Lassa fever we are talking about today is because of dirty environment. If the environment are clean, you will not see the rodents that bring the virus to people, because it is when the rodents that carries the virus come close to our food. Like, Nigerians, they like to drink gari with water and sugar because of poverty when the sun is very hot. But now people can no longer drink it. I drink gari too, because I'm not a rich man yet. I'm praying to God to help me. But since the outbreak of Lassa fever, I can no longer do that. So if we can take care of that aspect of maintaining the environment for it to be clean, you find out that the issue of Lassa fever will be a thing of the past. We should not forget the fact that between January and March this year, 183 people have died from Lassa fever, but nobody is talking about it. That is at the time it was more than this coronavirus that we are charting all over the world. A lot of people are dying from other diseases that have been neglected because, as we have said, I don't know whether we'll go to that later. Let me not preempt us. So okay. I think I will not be able to evaluate him more than what I have said now.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Victor. So far, I guess in the studio, I've talked about Babajide Sanwo-Olu's administration, and well, there are still high hopes for a better administration, at least in the next 3 years. Meanwhile, they've hinted on the issues of housing and, of course, a better environment, that's a neat environment in Lagos State, so as to have a better healthcare in Nigeria. Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari's scorecard has not been so fruitful. 5 years, and there's still lots of downturns to it. Well, still raising reactions on President Muhammadu Buhari's administration is the fact that once again he has demanded for a fresh loan that's about $5.513 billion from the National Assembly. Yes, and of course the loan is to be administered for the country, but lots of people are still criticizing President Muhammadu Buhari that this is putting Nigeria in a very high debt profile, as we're already in a big crisis. So let's go to you, Victor Aya. Now, President Muhammadu Buhari has once again demanded for a fresh loan. Would you approve of this, or do you see us going to a deeper crisis with this loan?
We're already in crisis.
Okay.
We're already in crisis. Right from 1976 that the first loan was taken by the government of the then General Murtala. No, not Murtala. It was Olusegun Obasanjo. Yeah. Where there was no need for us to take loan there, but because there was free money at that time, and the world economy was very buoyant at that time, when there was no need, he just decided to take some sum of money. Since that time, it has become a continuous process. Whether there's need for money for us to take a loan or not, they just go for it. And if you answer ourselves questions that all these years we have been taking loans, what have we been able to achieve since that time? Mm-hmm. I grew up to meet the problem of power. Today I started to have children, and my children are still facing the same problem. And you are still
talking about the problem of power.
We are still talking about the problem of power. We are still talking about the problem of housing. We are still talking about the problem of unemployment. We are still talking about the problem of bad rules and all that. The railway system that we acquired from the colonial masters, they are the one we are still managing. We cannot even improve on them. We cannot build new railway lines. Mm. So that is why we are wondering the purpose for this loan. In 2015, when Buhari was coming on board, the debt profile there was about $9.5 billion. Today it has risen to around 68 to 70 billion within a period of just 5 years. Then when you ask, people will begin to protect and protect government that it was because other governments, successive government, did not build infrastructure. That's why this government is taking loans. I saw one journalist, a very seasoned journalist, the other time, and I was so disturbed the way he presented the matter that other governments did not build infrastructure. That's why this government is taking loan to build infrastructure. And I asked within myself, because I was there in the sitting room at that time, watching the program, I asked, was Buhari not a part of past government? If he had built infrastructure at that time, will he be borrowing money now? So shifting the blame every time is not going to help us. So there's no need for us to take these loans, because this government have presented to us that they have multiple sources of income in this country. Okay. Every now and then we are being told that the customs has generated so amount of money that runs into billions. Money is coming from apart from the crude oil. We were told that they have diversified the economy, and much money is coming from solid mineral, gold, silver, bauxite, and all that. Then, besides that, we have been told that they have recovered huge amount of money from the Abacha loot. What have they done with all this money that every now and then they keep on borrowing money, and we are not seeing what they are using the money to do? When the $311 million was recovered from the Abacha loot of recent, which the Attorney General of the Federation and the Minister of Justice listing as a Abacha asset that we criticized that time. We were told that the money will be used for the reconstruction of Lagos Ibadan Expressway, the second Niger Bridge, and the Abuja Kaduna Express way. Now, this money they want to borrow, they are still telling us that they will use the same money for the same project.
So what did they
use? So what did they use the $311 million that they recover from Abacha loot of in March? So they keep telling us the same thing. You borrow money for the same project, you borrow another one for the same project, you borrow another one for the same project. I think it is high time we Nigeria stood up to begin to ask questions. This division between among us, that because you belong to APC, whatever APC does is right, you belong to PDP, whatever PDP does is right, it's not going to help us. That is what has put us into this quagmire, this division among us. Look at what happened to George Floyd just 3 days ago. The whole country was on lockdown, people protesting. But you can imagine the number of people that policemen have hacked down in this country just because of 20 naira. Nobody talks because it has not come close to you. If it has not come close to you, it happens to another person, you don't talk. Tomorrow, what if it comes close to you? So there is need for us to talk now. Whether you belong to PDP or APC, let us remove our differences and criticize this. And the most painful thing is that the National Assembly has become a toothless bulldog. Why? Because the senior president said that whatever Buhari demands, whatever the president demands, they will give to him. That is not how to go about it. That you are in the same political party. Even PDP was more critical among themselves. There was a time when the PDP were there, they will criticize the government. They will not approve everything that the president wanted. But in this one, they are not even asking questions. They are just giving approval. Nobody is talking about how we are going to pay the money. And besides that, assuming the money is being used for development, we will know that at least we have something to show for it. But since 1960 to today, apart from the few infrastructure we inherited from the colonial administrators, have we seen meaningful improvement in our infrastructure? The answer is no. And if anybody is saying that we have seen improvement, the question which we will answer ourselves is that why are our leaders going patronizing foreign hospitals? Because they will tell us that they have provided quality health care for us. But the same people who claim, there was one governor from the South who said that he has built a functional hospital, a world-class hospital. When he had a slight accident, he took a passport and flew away, and I was just laughing. You said just within 2 months ago that you built a functional hospital, a world-class hospital. Why are you running to other countries? Is that hospital not good enough to treat you? The same people now will say, the presidency will say that the president has provided health care for all Nigerians. Why is he patronizing foreign hospitals? They will tell us that they have provided a functional education system. Why are their children patronizing foreign education system over there if the ones at home are good? So to me, there is no need for the National Assembly to approve this money.
Okay.
There's no need. Because at the end of the day, we will not see anything that will be done with the money. And because of the kind of corruption institution we have, when the president leaves office, nobody is going to call him to answer. And that is why we find ourselves in this situation. If we have spent 20 years recovering money from one man, how about other people that have led this country? Are they angels?
Okay,
are they saints?
That's a big question.
So the corruption fight should be extended to them. Let the EFCC ask them one by one. How did you get money to do this? Please, let me just add one thing. When the APC was coming in, they promised that the burden of proof will be shifted to the accused. Have they submitted any bill to that effect so that the burden of proof will be shifted? Because if I see somebody that he has acquired wealth above his means, and I decide to take it to court, the burden to prove that the person did not embezzle money is on me. How do I do that? How can I know how he got his money? I don't have access to his account. I don't have access to his business. That is the instrument they are using in China or other places. The burden of proof should be shifted to the accused, not the accuser. If you have that system in place, you see somebody who built a high-rising house, and you know that he has nothing meaningful that is doing, that is bringing such money, you can tell the person to cut down. He is the one who will prove that, okay, I have a factory here. In this factory, look at my books. Every month I get 1 trillion or 2 billion. From this proceed, after paying my workers, this is what I use in building this. But how do I, as an individual, be able to prove that? So if they are serious with fighting corruption, they should introduce that bill. I know I have the right to do that, but you know I'm an ordinary citizen of this country. Okay. I don't have money. If the Buhari is sure of fighting corruption as a first citizen of this country, if he introduces that bill to the National Assembly, it will be given expedited hearing, because as a first citizen of this country, they will listen to him than myself. So let him introduce that bill if actually he wants to fight corruption, so that the burden of proof will be turned against the person that is accused, that have estate and he has no factory anywhere. Some former governors, former ministers, former heads of state, they control half of their states. How do they get the money to build all those houses all over the places that is making the poor man not to have access to a house? Because they will lock up the estate. They will lock up the estate. The poor man might have no access to those houses. And they are using our sweat, your sweat and my sweat. So the burden of proof should be turned against the accuser.
All right, thank you very much, Victor. Victor has been quite passionate, and he is still insisting that this loan should not be approved to President Muhammadu Buhari. In his own stance, he is saying that with the previous loans being collected, nothing has been done, or rather, we've not seen anything that has improved, talking about infrastructure, health, and economy with the loans. So he's of the opinion that another loan should not be approved. Well, let's go to political matters now, we're still in political matters, but now election matters now. We know that Ondo and Edo elections are very, very close, and the Independent National Electoral Commission has said that they will start electronic voting 2021 in the wake of COVID-19. Now, it is disclosed in a document released on Monday in Abuja, which was tagged Policy on Conducting Elections in the Context of the COVID-19 Pandemic. The electoral umpire decried the rising cost of elections in the country, saying it will be liaising with the National Assembly to see how political parties can nominate replacements for dead representatives in line with the Supreme Court judgment that votes belong to the parties and not individuals. It added also that for the elections in Ondo and Edo states, voters without face masks would be disallowed from voting in the forthcoming governorship elections in Edo and Ondo states. Let's go over to you now. We're looking at e-voting 2021. I know that right from time we've been complaining about the fact that we've not been technologically advanced in our electoral procedures. So do you see a plus with this, or do you feel, or are there some sites that you think, some lapses you think INEC should look into before venturing into e-voting?
You see, what I used to tell my friends when we gather is that one of the legacy President Buhari would leave for Nigerians is to visit Justice Uwe's Electoral Commission report. If he's listening to me, I'm using this platform to plead with him that we at this age, we would appreciate him and forget about whatever he would have done in his actions against Nigeria. We would appreciate him till end of time if he can visit Justice Uwe's electoral reform. That reform, include former Professor Jega in it, give a lot of open light to many loopholes, including electoral platform of voting. One of the harbinger where corruption lies in Nigeria today is electoral corruption. A lot of those that have found themselves in the National Assembly, I can tell you more than 80% of them did not got their vote based on the interest of the people. They manipulated their way to find themselves there. But once that we have that electoral reform where every vote can, you see, one of the reasons they misbehave, many of those politicians, they know that at the end of the day they will use money to maneuver, to read corrupt reading process to get their way. The same thing goes to what the president is trying to do, which I appreciate him for, on that executive order, that he is giving that order to allow the independence of the judiciary. You see, the painful part of that give birth to anything democracy is electoral system. Once that electoral system is faulty, then the franchise right of the people has no meaning. So I am of the opinion that the president, the INEC chairman, make sure, you know, that electoral process is enacted in our law, so that we can do it through electoral reform, where once you are voting now, we are reading immediately. Okay. Not that they will do it in an analog way, where at the end of the day it will get to one process, or before you know it is being manipulated. Somebody that never thought of winning election before becomes winner. You begin to wonder. So that electoral reform is one of the best things that can happen to Nigerian democracy, and in history it will remain so till end of time.
So that's like open vote, so people can see.
Once you are voting, there is a scoreboard that the vote has come. We are counting, not that it will have to start to follow through Mr. Anya, come through to you, before you know, somebody will just manipulate it. Before you know, things are changed, and somebody who never won in one word before is counting about millions. That is the reason why you see even the righteous ones are not willing to go into election, because they know that at the end of the day it is not what the people vote that would count, but what some selective few, according to Abakarimi, he said what we have in Nigerian democracy is a democracy where the privileged few have access, then the others are onlookers. End of quote. That is, and till what you have said at that time is still fact till today, where only the privileged few have access. They determine what would happen. So once that electoral law is put in place, then the Nigerian people can have, they will be afraid of Nigerian people, and it will open a lot of economic doors. Let me tell you, one of the things that gives power and thought to foreign direct investment is when you have the sincerity of purpose from those that are called themselves lawmakers, those who are what's it called, the judiciary. Because what Mr. Anya said earlier, that if you go to the judiciary today, you can be sure of what will happen in the other way around.
All right,
but those that are doing it, it's very painful. Okay.
All right, so sorry, we really run out of time. Well, definitely, I'm sure we would revisit this case. This is Mr. Temple from Cross River State. I like the administration of Buhari and Sanwo-Olu because Nigeria does not face problems as they used to before. Well, this is how we draw the curtain for today's edition of Editors Forum. Thank you very much, Victor. I am so sorry, Olusegun. I really have plenty things to say. I hope we'll have another opportunity another time. Thank you very much to our beloved audience for being a part of Editors Forum. Do join us same time, same station next week for another edition of Editors Forum. I am RITA OMODIA. Please do stay safe.